Alrighty. Are you ready?
I is. I
Oh,
is.
make sure the phone's on silent.
Yeah, it's a good call. Do not disturb.
Okie dokie.
Yep.
Hello and welcome to the Warrior House podcast, where Warrior Pride lives. I'm your host, Ryan Reingart, joined by my co-host, Mike Sangster. Thank you for joining us on episode 106 of the Warrior House podcast. How are you, Sangster?
Had a busy day. Had a busy yesterday at the Tigers game, which they thankfully won because I don't know if I could handle coming to talk about some Wayne State, just knowing that the Tigers got eliminated. But they've got another day on Friday.
I was sweating a little bit once I got into the sixth
Yeah.
inning. I think we were maybe tied or we had just gone up one run. I was like, oh, this could be the last time I'm seeing them, knowing that would be the last time I see Tarek Skubal pitch this season. And thankfully, that's not the case. We get to see him pitch again.
Exactly. And I can definitely tell you it was a morgue. The first four innings where they couldn't do anything, and it was bad. It was bad baseball. It's the culmination of a month, and I totally understand. Like, oh, people are like, oh, it's a playoff game. You should be rooting and tooting and hollering for your team. It's like this team has been not great for a month
Yeah.
now, and yet they managed to figure something out finally. But they were. I'm totally of the belief that to get a team to for a audience fans to cheer a team on, they need to give you something to cheer about, and the Tigers haven't done that up until that fourth inning here.
Yeah, they finally turned it around. So uh hoping to see another win for them and move on to the next series. We had some Wayne State athletics action over the last over the last week. Quite a bit, as per usual. We're gonna start out on the bummer note of football.
I don't want it to be a
Um,
bummer note. Like we're not
no,
starting out because it's a bummer. We're starting out because it's football, and that's kind of what
yeah,
the people want. But
yeah.
yeah, once again, it was a bummer.
Yeah, it was a big weekend, homecoming weekend. It was a lot of fun. We can start out with that. We had a lot of alumni show up in this one. As Sangster and I mentioned in the last episode, we were part of the alumni band, so we got to partake in the festivities there. A bunch of people showed up, a bunch of new faces, so that was exciting for us to see. We talk to some people within the W Club, not for very long, but by and large, we were kind of watching this game from the stands and listening in from the parking lot. But it was
Yeah.
everything outside of the football game. It was exciting. The bummer is we did not catch any of the first quarter, just by way of the way that homecoming works. And when we're part of the alumni band, we go do that. We go back on out to the parking lot, make sure we're well hydrated before we head back in for the game. We did end up missing the entire first quarter there, but yeah, Michigan Tech comes to town and they won 48-24.
Yeah, and aside,
Rough,
yeah, rough. Ha, get it? Rough.
rough, rough.
Rough. Uh, yeah. Aside from that first quarter, it really did not go Wayne State's way at all. Uh, in the let's see, 7 minutes in the second quarter, Griffin Nowak hits a 44-yard field goal. It's pretty good. To get Wayne State up 21-24. Michigan Tech after that proceeds to score 24 unanswered points, starting at the end of the towards the middle end of the second half and just going on to the third and fourth. There really wasn't much that they did in the second half of the game as far as scoring goes. They only hit a field goal and they hit one more touchdown at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Uh, so really, it's this second quarter that got away, I think, from Wayne State the most. And again, it goes back to that. We've seen them get a hot start. They haven't been able to finish. Sometimes we've seen them get a slow start and they get hot at the end. It's another game where they haven't been able to put together a complete effort.
Yeah, I mean that second quarter, I think you said a 24-3 in favor of Michigan Tech. That's rough. That's we were minus 21 points in that second quarter. That's a tough place to be. And by the way, we scored no points in the second half. So I mean, yeah, we got out to a hot start at the end of the first. We were up 21-14, and then nothing burger after that. And that's not how you win games.
No, and unfortunately, Michigan Tech just had their way, I think, with Wayne State. Despite the lack of scoring in the second half by Michigan Tech and the real lack of scoring by Wayne State, uh, Michigan Tech just had the better numbers in this one over Wayne State. More passing yards, more rushing yards, more receivers doing stuff. It just did not go Wayne State's way as well as good as that first quarter was.
Yeah, net 16 rushing yards for Wayne State, net
Not going to get it.
188 for Michigan Tech. 16's
Tough.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on 21 attempts. So it just like that didn't go well. The passing game, 17 for 26 from Champion Edwards for 143. Not
Two
much is
picks.
going to happen with those numbers. Yeah, and by the way, 2 picks on top of that. So just none of that leads up to things going your way. And how much do we want to talk about the defense here? I mean, I don't really know how much there is to say. Like we gave up 48 points. However, it was given up. 48 points was still given up. They did score a touchdown, I believe, a defensive touchdown, and they're off of an interception by I didn't have the name off the top of my head, Kelly Matthews. So I believe he returned that one for a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, you got to pick six on that one.
Yeah, so I guess defensively, when you think of it from that perspective, that is a good thing to see. That is an individual defensive play. Honestly, it's probably the entire team. It's not just him making a play there, but that's a good thing to see. But even at the end of the day, I mean, giving up 48 points, that's 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 tough. Yeah, and time of possession, I'm sure, was very much in Michigan Tech's favor. Just seeing the number of attempts, the passing attempts, rushing attempts, and all that just leads to say that there was a lot of three and outs here. Bad game, really bad game. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, and if you just want to top that not good ness of this game, uh, this is the third time that Wayne State has given up 40 or more points to Michigan Tech. And just for the record, we've been playing Michigan Tech in the conference since 1980. We played them twice before that. Wayne State right now still has a winning record over them, 20-15. But the last time they gave up more than 40 points, you have to go back to Paul Winter's first year, October 9, 2004, when they lost 23-61. And the year before that, I'm blanking on the last coach's name, where they lost 35-42. Michigan Tech has never cracked 40 until now since then against Wayne State.
Yeah.
So tough.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna say, oh, well, Michigan Tech's a good team. Like, yeah, they're a good team. Doesn't mean you go out there and give up 48 points on homecoming on your home field. Like that's just to me, that's just unacceptable. And I
Exactly.
will say, Sangster, I'm gonna continue to reiterate this as the coming weeks happen. There's three games that I'm looking at, and this was one of them. And I said three strikes, and that's that for me. 48-24 is a really, really bad start. So that's strike one. We're going to talk about the upcoming game here in the second half, but that we're off to a really bad start in this. I mean, and we're off to a really bad last two seasons, if I'm being honest with you. We can go before that, but we're talking about where we are right now. That was bad. That was really bad. I mean, it's just to me leaving homecoming. When we talked about the the first home game for Wayne State for the season was against Tiffin, and there's a really good crowd that showed up for that one, and it ended up being a absolute beatdown. Like it wasn't even close in that one. And again, here you got a lot of people coming back. That's no reason to play great, or when people don't show up, you don't play great. But like the fact of the matter is, a bunch of people, a bunch of alumni showed up, and the team looked flat after the first quarter. Like there was nothing there, and it's just a bummer to me.
Yeah, and I'm trying to look really fast to see what the homecoming crowds have been like. Uh, this is the lowest attended homecoming crowd since the 2018 win over Northwood, which was Wayne State's second win of that particular season. I remember that one particularly well because they hadn't won one since Walsh when they shut out Walsh 31 nothing at home to start the season. So yeah, these seasons can be wild. And yeah, just it's kind of a state of the program right now. That and compare that to the home opener, attendance was about 400 people more, and that one was pretty low. So
Yeah.
yeah, tough day for homecoming. I know that we had fun with everybody else, football aside, but
Yeah.
wasn't a good day.
No, definitely not a good football day, but
Not a good football day. Yeah.
yeah. So the rest of it was a lot of fun, though. Got to connect with a lot of alumni, hoping to continue to see some band alumni, some athletics alumni. A bunch of people continue to follow this program. I just really, I long for the day that we can all show up, have fun, talk about, our time at Wayne State, and then go see a quality Wayne State victory. It feels like it's been a really long time. So
It
with
has.
that saying, so let's move right along into some Wayne State volleyball action.
Much,
Big
much better news here.
Way better. Big time teams do big time things. This Wayne State volleyball team did some big time things this weekend. Quick flashback to last weekend, which was the opening weekend for GLIAC. I'm sorry, it was the second week of GLIAC volleyball. It was the first away weekend for the Wayne State volleyball team in GLIAC play. And they went out to Ferris State and Davenport and dropped both of those games. Rough. You want to come back 1-1. Ferris, you drop a match to Ferris. You accept it. You hope that you saw some things. You go to Davenport, you drop there, not the one that you wanted to drop. So what happens this weekend? Well, the Wayne State volleyball team starts out and they head out to Grand Valley on Thursday, and then they headed on down to Purdue Northwest on Friday. Won both of those matches, Sangster. So really quick, kind of before we pull these matches apart and talk about what happened here, we're talking over the last 2 weeks that the Wayne State volleyball team did. I feel like what you would hope that this team can do is split away. And when you tell me that one of them was against Ferris, one of them was against Grand Valley, and the other two are against other teams, and we split that, like that's good to me. Like that's
Yeah.
really, really good to me. So regardless of how it happened, 2 away weekends in a row, we come back with again what I would hope to see from an uh, away stand.
Sure. Um, so this Grand Valley game, keep in mind, Grand Valley comes in as the number 18 team in Division Two right now. They were on a tear. Pretty sure that they had been unbeaten going into this game. Yes, they were 9-2, 4-0. We hand them their first conference loss of the season. First set, Wayne State wins this one. It's big. It was a close, tightly fought set. They ended up winning 25-23. You get some breathing room for the rest of the match now. Unfortunately, home court, Grand Valley does handle their business in the second and third sets, 25-17, 25-15. Set four, Wayne State's got to win this one to keep going, force it to that fifth set. And they do big. They dug literally deep, 25-12 in the fourth set. And then they managed to squeak out that fifth set, 15 to 11. It's a shortened set to get that win over Grand Valley. It's the first time that Wayne State has defeated a top 25 opponent in over 7 years, since 2018.
Yeah. And we did that away. We did that on their court they're used to practicing on, court use they're playing on. And all of that came together, and this team
Yep.
really showed out. And I was listening to this one. I had the audio for this one. And yeah, I remember we got through that third set and I was listening in on that. And then, the fourth set started going. I had to make sure the announcer was saying the right team names, because he said at one point we were up like 14-5 or something. Like it was such a big lead. And to find out that no, he was right. Wayne State was leading by that much. I was like, okay, like we're feeling good here. And then yeah, of course the fifth set rolls around. We talk about it all the time. Like who knows what happens in that fifth set. It's shortened. We're on Grand Valley's court. All of that didn't matter. Wayne State closed it out. So just an outstanding win. It definitely seems like the team knew what this game meant, like what opportunity was ahead of them. Like they just, you lost two unfortunate matches the previous weekend. You got this one, and man, that was fantastic. And then the possibly scarier thing, something that's equally as scary, is what comes after that. Well, you go to Purdue Northwest. Are you just living too much in the high of a big time top 25 away win in conference play? Or are you like, guys, we really have a chance to sweep this? Wayne State went and did exactly that. So, three straight sets, Wayne State wins 25-19. So uh, relatively close when it comes to total number of points. Not like chewing off your fingernails close, it doesn't seem like, but they were able to make it happen. Three straight sets, take the dub, sweep the weekend, Sangster.
away at that, and two longer road trips. It's not like going out to Saginaw Valley. Grand Valley is about a 2.5. Uh, I don't know if they came back to Detroit, but you gotta go down the west side of the state to Hammond for Purdue Northwest. So definitely a weekend on the road out there for them, and they definitely did not flinch uh, at that Purdue Northwest game either. They were able to handle their business after such an emotional high after being Grand Valley.
Yeah, and then two more things on this one. The Kaylas. I mean, my goodness, can we talk about anybody but the Kaylas? It seems like no, because Kayla Drew wins GLIAC Offensive Player of the Week, and Kayla Dulger wins GLIAC Setter of the Week. And they had some. I actually didn't jot down their numbers. I do know I was looking at the box score just a couple of days ago, and yeah, I mean, Kayla Drew's attack percentage was impressive. And I mean, you win setter of the week because you basically connected on every single set that you had to someone to attack the ball. So, I mean, it's just such a good thing to see. And that, and, when you put those two together, that's how you end up with these big time wins there. So, good, really, really good stuff for this Wayne State volleyball team. I don't know if I can talk their praises enough. They're a high quality team.
Yeah, as we've said, even after during the non-conference part of the season, that this is the team to watch during the fall, and they're certainly showing it right now. This is kind of a light weekend. Moving on though to the women's golf team. However, they were competing in the William Beal Fall Classic just earlier this week, starting Monday, October 6th through the 7th. Uh, they kind of roughed this one out. It's kind of gone how a lot of other uh, tournaments have gone for this women's golf team right now. Unfortunately, they end up tying for 11th out of 17 different teams competing here. Best player was Claudia Portillo. She was tied for 45th at 24 strokes over. Next up, Ting Yu Kwa was tied for 52nd at 28 strokes over. So kind of a team that finished middle of the road everywhere, and that's where they end up. Unfortunately, behind two GLIAC teams, Grand Valley and Ferris. Though I think they were able to place ahead of any other GLIAC teams that were there. I'm not
Yep,
looking.
Saginaw.
Yep, Saginaw. So
Yeah. Yeah, the story here was like there was consistency amongst the scoring golfers for this Wayne State women's golf team,
mhm.
but it wasn't, top of the leaderboard. It wasn't top. It may have been right around the top third mark, maybe actually probably a little bit below that. But when everybody's playing that way, like, it's great. You got the consistency, but we got to figure out in this case how to shave off, 5 strokes per round per golfer. I mean, that makes a huge difference. It doesn't always work out that way. Of course, you'd love to go back and be like, oh, I would love to take this shot back. I'd love to not run this putt so hard, all of those things. But it's one of those like nobody played uh, wildly behind anybody else on the team, but nobody was really challenging to be the top individual scoring golfer. So that's the
Yeah.
story of this one. Definitely a bummer, but again, I mean, we're seeing where this team is kind of lining up when it comes to GLIAC play. It seems like we're going to be, it seems like a middle of the road team, middle of the conference team right now, at least so far. So it could change, but definitely more opportunities for them.
Yeah, beauty is there. I think we've said it a couple times now. There's still winter between the fall and the spring season. Lots of time to hit the sims, lots of time to still hit the driving range while the weather is nice, while it's awesome outside right now. I'm loving this 60 something degrees, much better than the 80 something that we had for homecoming. That was good. That was a little stupid. Uh
Yeah.
yeah. Last up we had women's tennis. They were out in Grand Rapids, Allendale, Grand Valley for the ITA Midwest Regional on Friday, October 3rd through the 5th. Out of this one, Malik Arafat made it to the quarterfinals of singles draw A, but she ended up falling to one of the finalists. Malik and then Celine Kayakent made it to the round of 16 in doubles draw A, but they fell to the eventual champions. So I kind of always say if you're going to lose to somebody, at least make it that you're losing to the champions out there. So kind of was a tough outing for the Wayne State women's tennis team. Kind of is a great way to gauge where the team's at now. They've still got a bit of time before uh, that late winter going into spring rolls around as well to hit up the indoor facility, get some more practice in, figure out, what they're going to do. Again, over the past couple of years, they've lost some really good players, and it's going to be a matter of who steps up to take that number one spot.
Yeah, they were supposed to have an event coming up this I think this coming week, but it seems like that one got bumped out a little bit. So we'll be talking about them in a couple of weeks here. But you're exactly right that um I mean it's tough competition. You're in regionals. You're going against the best teams in the region. If you're going singles or doubles, you're going against the best singles and doubles. I mean, we saw a couple good finishes there, but yeah, collectively there wasn't as much high tier finishes we'd like to see, but nonetheless, there's so much tennis ahead of us. One other thing I wanted to cover, we don't have any numbers on it, but the Wayne State baseball team played back on Friday. They had a scrimmage against Mott Community College, and then on Sunday, the Wayne State softball team had a scrimmage against Detroit Mercy. No numbers on any of that, but those were two events that were going on as well, just to wrap up, like you said, a little bit of a quiet, calm weekend for Wayne State athletics, especially around campus. I mean, goodness, the only thing that was even close was, I guess, baseball, softball, but of scored sports, just because it's not a scrimmage, football. That was the only one, and yeah, it was a tough one. So.
Yep.
We got a lot more coming up though, Sangster. We have a lot of athletics, a lot of new sports actually coming in that we're going to be talking about here. So, with that, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we will talk about what we got coming. Alrighty. Uh, I don't wanna. I don't wanna. Hmm.
Oh, so they're not doing the Davenport Panther Golf Invitational? Oh no, that's tennis. Never mind. Doo-doo-doo. Yep. Golf's
Wait,
doing
there's
golf's doing the Davenport thingamajig. Men's golf is doing the golf thingamajig.
yep. Men's tennis has ITA Cup, but I don't know if anybody's going there.
I thought
Do they
somebody
have it listed?
like
I'm pulling. Oh my God. Why is the ITA such a shit site?
somebody's going. It's on the schedule.
I can't think of who it is.
Actually, on the men's side, it's not till next week anyway. Next Thursday.
Yeah, that's what we're covering.
Oh,
Yeah, the 16th.
yeah.
Oh, wait, no, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. I'll shut up. Never mind. Scrap it. That's why it's not on here.
Oh, yeah. I was really confused. There's no tennis on
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I don't see any tennis events this weekend.
Yep, just
Ooh,
golf. Move. Means golf to men. So we're not. Oh, it's in Augusta. Davenport Pan.
oh, the best bit that we do. Okay, yeah, Benjamin Hill got invited.
Woo.
for singles beat. Wait, no, hold on. Whatever. We'll look at it next week. It's not this week. We will jump off that bridge when we come to it. Alrighty. What else we need?
Both. At Muskegon Community Common. Muskegon Community College has its own golf course, and that makes me a little angry.
Because why not?
And they're using it for running.
Go run down the fairway. Wow, they really do have their own course. Oh my gosh. For what it's worth, Sangster,
Yeah.
kind of looks terrible. It looks
Um,
like a nine. It looks like a nine hole. It does not look like there's 18 on there. Maybe there is. I just
You have to play it backwards for the back eight. They put pins in the tee boxes.
funny. Oh Jesus. All righty.
All right, we're good.
Before I fall asleep over, dude, it has been a week. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I'm so tired. Yeah, work's been it. Been good, but it's been busy.
Yep.
So, but tomorrow's Friday. We don't normally say that when we record.
Nope. And today is
All right.
his home opener too, or season opener. I don't know if they're home, but
They are home. Yeah, the Pistons are away.
I would hope they're not playing at the same time. That'd be awkward. Can't do that anymore.
No, not these days. Alrighty, let's do it. And we're back. Um, we'll start out with football, Sangster. We have a lot of sports coming up, and I know the football is going to take a little bit. I know we got some thoughts to share. Probably nothing surprising here, but like the Wayne State football team currently is 0-5 overall, and they are 0-1 in GLIAC play. A lot of GLIAC football games to still play. So I mean, there's still season left. There's opportunities, all of those things. But yeah, this is probably the toughest game that Wayne State has this season. Probably last season, if I'm being honest with you as well, if you took those two, because you're going out to Fair State
Yeah.
and you're playing on their field. And they are the reigning D2 national champions. They're looking very good again, by the way. I mean, surprise, surprise. So,
They're only
yeah,
the number one ranked team in the nation.
yeah. So this is this is a tough one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's not much to be said on this matchup. Ferris is good every year. And unless we're talking about a UCLA Penn State type upset, there's just not much on this game specific. Oh, and I'll preface that with saying only also that Wayne State has never been a Tony Annese led Ferris State team. If you look in the years before Tony Annese got there in 2012, they were a good team. They got 6-7 win seasons. They had like a 1 win thrown in there too, but they were a good to average type team. Very, very similar, I think, to what Wayne State was like in 2012 up to about 2019 or so. A team that would usually find a way to win 6-7 games. Unfortunately, couldn't get over that hump. And so I think, with a situation like Ferris and with a situation like Wayne State had, it was all about trying to identify that guy, quote, to lead the program. So I do want to address something that was said by Coach Wheatley at the end of the Michigan Tech game. And this is a courtesy of the Warrior Sports Network. I don't think we're allowed to / can use the audio, but I can quote it for you. Tony Ortiz on the sideline. He asked Coach, what can you do to change around what's happened so far? 0-5 start. Coach Wheatley, well, it's not like this program has been stellar for the past 20 years, right? At the end of the day, a lot of stuff is I'm at the helm and I gotta change it. I'm gonna paraphrase what he said after, but coach kind of put the onus on the players then, saying something to the effect of that they think we can just line up and play football. I've got some thoughts on that. You've got some thoughts on kind of the last part of that. I've got some thoughts on the first part of what he said.
Yeah, if you want to take that first, then I can kind of wrap us up since you're on a roll right now.
Okay. Okay. So again, coach said, "Oh, it's not like this program has been stellar for the past 20 years." Okay, so I'm gonna say right now, read a book. Okay, we don't have John U. Bacon though. We don't have him to write a book for us. There should be. But so you're going to get my analysis here. So let's start out with the word stellar. I'm going to concede to you that there is just one official team trophy in the trophy case right now, but that one trophy is for the national runner-up in 2011. Wayne State was close a couple times to getting a full conference trophy. Didn't happen. Probably one or two games away, just about every year. I think a fair statement would be to say that the team from 2005 to 2022, before Coach Wheatley got here, but 20 years ago, was great at its high to we'll call it competitive at its low. Let's average it out that this was a good team over those past 20 years. Gonna say right now, the team the past 3 years has not been good. So let's go to those past 20 years. We're gonna start out 2005 to 2007. Coach Winters gets here in 2004, his first year. I tend to write off the first year of any brand new coach uh, for their first season. It's just what it is with football. Sometimes you luck out. Sometimes you get a case where it's a successor. That was not the case here. Wayne State does start out, I think, with a 1-9, 1-10 season in 2004, but we're talking 20 years. 2005, they start out 3-7. 2006, 6-5. 2007, 3-8. I'm going to call that the building the foundation years. 2005, it's year two under Paul Winters. It's an 0-5 start. They managed to get 3 wins, though, including a top 10 win over Michigan Tech. Michigan Tech did used to be in the top 25. And two of those losses in a 7-loss season were one-score losses, and another loss that would later be forfeit because Saginaw Valley forfeited because I think they were cheaters that year. Something about eligibility for kids. It was a big snafu 20 years ago. 2006, you move on. 6-5 season. That's Wayne State's first winning season since 1993. That's 13 years ago. And on top of that, two of those losses were one-score losses. That team easily could have been 8-3. Again, an outstanding season for them considering what Wayne State was like before. And I think 2006 might have been the first year they put, turf down on the field. Before that, it was grass and it wasn't even that good of grass. 2007 was a step back. There were 4 one-score losses in that 8-loss season. 2 of them went to overtime. So easily a few games there that could have flipped either way. So I'm going to call that the building the foundation years. 2008 to 2011, that's peak excellence. We know what that stretch of teams was. 8-3, 6-5, 9-2 should have gone to the playoff then. They didn't. The selection committee was stupid. And then 12-4, national runners up. We know about those years. Those have been beaten to death. Those were the years that we looked forward to when we got to Wayne State between 2012 and 2019. I'm going to call those the trying to reclaim glory years. You've got 5-5, 3-8, kind of a downturn. Then up to 7-4, 6-5, another 7-4, a 5-6, 2-9, and then 8-3 in 2019. Let's talk about that 2014 season. 7-4. There were 3 one-score losses. So think about that. If they had flipped around 2 of those, they would have been in another playoff run. Maybe even if it's just one, they're in a playoff run.
Yep.
2016, you and I definitely remember that one. That one was another 7-4 season. Unfortunately, kind of had a late collapse towards the end that we participated in a lot. Kind of some rough years in 2018 or 2017 and 18, really rough in 2018. They find a way in 2019 finish 8-3. If they had found a way against one of their two non-con losses, or somehow found a way against Ferris, they would have. If they had found a way against Ferris, they would have won the GLIAC. If they would have found a way in one more non-conference game, this is another postseason team. So at this point, the way I look at it is that yes, Wayne State's been to all of one D2 playoff. They got a trophy for it. They easily could have been there if they have a coin flip somewhere over the past years. I think maybe one, two, I think between more in 2008 to 2011. And then I think two, three, four. So somewhere around like maybe five more trips to the postseason. That ultimately didn't happen, but I think it was certainly there. Then you get into 2021, 2022, the post-COVID years. 2021, looking back now, we're more mature. We can look back on that season with better eyes, even though they get worse as you age. Conditioning was certainly a factor that year. Uh, Enhanced COVID restrictions around the city of Detroit, around Wayne State. You're on a medical campus. Your president is a doctor. You're not on West Michigan for political reasons. There was just no way that the conditioning was going to be as good as some of the other teams, I think. And then you look at 2022, again, another kind of post-COVID year there. I think there were still some COVID things going on at Wayne State. But in that season, still, there were 5 one-score losses. It wouldn't have been a perfect season by any means, but again, you take, we'll say a majority of them at least, you could certainly see how Wayne State could have had a winning season bouncing off of a rough 2021 going into 22. It didn't happen that way. After Rob Fournier left, Paul Winters ends up being replaced with Tyrone Wheatley. But over the past 20 years, this has been a good team. It's had some ebbs and flows. What we're not seeing right now is a good team.
No, we're not. And I get caught up on the word stellar. Like
Yeah.
I don't really know what stellar means. Like you didn't come into Fair State. Like you weren't hired on to a team that's, making it to the semifinals every season. You're exactly right. If that's your definition of stellar, then you should have known what you had signed up for to begin with. What I don't like is taking shots and blaming things before you. When he says it's not like this program had been stellar, that's a shot at something that you have no control over. What you do have control over is you changing the direction, and it does not feel like that's happening. It's one of those like sure, like it sucks that the house is on fire, but like it was on fire before I got here, so like what's the big deal? Like, well, you're the firefighter. You came in, said you're gonna put the fire out, and like it's still burning. Like that's what the issue is. So I mean, like, we're 3 seasons in at this point, and we're sitting at 0 and 5. It's very hard to think that something is going to turn around and that like all of a sudden they're going to wake up, the team, the coaches, whoever, like that all of a sudden the next game's going to come along and everything's going to be figured out. The hope continues to fade for me. I'm not hoping against it. If it happens, I will be the first one to raise my hand and said I said what I said. But that's the one thing that I don't really like, and it has happened to me before, and I have heard that from Coach Wheatley, and talking with him once upon a time is hearing a similar comment like that of, well, look what the team was before. I mean, at this point, I'd go back to 6 and 5. I would take on a team that's challenging to be 500. We're challenging to get a win at 2 seasons in a row now. It's just
Yeah.
so I don't know. That's what I get caught up on, and that kind of to quote Family Guy grinds my gears a little bit.
Yeah. And it's not so much that it's another rough start. It's that it's looking almost exactly the same
Yep.
as it has. It's almost going exactly as it did last year.
Yep.
Yeah, we've made some changes at the coordinators. I think individually in the micro, there is some good changes that have happened. I do prefer this offensive system, even though the results haven't been there. Unfortunately, the results weren't there the past couple of years either. Defense, I think this game aside, has looked solid. Uh, Certainly, it's again that I think they're on the field too long, but that's been the problem going back the past couple of years. So it's the problem that it's looking like the same song and dance. And where is it going to come from that it can get turned around? And like you said, I will eat my words if this thing gets turned around uh, with this staff. And I I don't want Wayne State to lose. I want Wayne State to be successful. I want it to be uh, the best that it can, represent this university well, especially against you're playing teams that are within this state. And
Yeah.
probably high school friends go to different ones. They come back and they can chirp at each other about, who's better, stuff like that. And so let's bring it back around now. So how does this relate to Ferris? We talked about it a little bit earlier. Pre 2012 Ferris looked very similar to that 2012 to 2019 Wayne State. Ebbs and flows, middle of the road, but winning seasons, a couple ones thrown in that weren't too good. Ferris State decided that good wasn't good enough. They found the right guy to make it work. Now they're one of the best teams, not only in D2, probably better than a lot of the lower FCS schools, better than some of the lower FBS teams.
Yep.
That's something. And we've been to Ferris. We 100% understand why Grand Valley doesn't like them. Ferris is your typical Division two looking school. There's, if you look at facilities, things like that, it's nothing special.
Yep.
But it's what they've put in place there, that they've got a winning pedigree. Yes, it's taken time to elevate them to that elite status, but they were doing it well uh, before their elite run. They were getting to Division two playoffs. They were competing extremely well with other schools in this conference. And so it's almost as if the line for in Ferris's case, it's almost as if the Lions had found Dan Campbell after Jim Caldwell. They decided that making the playoffs wasn't good enough, that we need to find the guy to take us above that. Wayne State's case here, it's looking more like we found Matt Patricia.
Yep, sure is. Yeah, this is it's just been rough. So I mean, kind of to close this out, kind of my thoughts before we move on to volleyball, cross country, and a number of other sports. Um, I mentioned this is not a game I'm really keeping my eye on that much. Like I'm going to watch it, I'm going to follow along and all that, but this is not a deciding game for me. If we go out there and win, fantastic. If we go out there and make it competitive, fantastic. But if we go out there and get boat raced, like I'm not, this isn't one that I'm holding against anybody. Like this is a very, very good Ferris State team. Sorry, we're not on the same level as them. So like I can live with that.
Yeah.
It's the two games following this one. So this one to me is just kind of a, follow along with this one, see what we can get out of this, see if there's anything that, that speaks to me. And then we'll, kind of continue on with how I feel that things should, happen from here on out. So, yeah, again, like I want to reiterate, we will never, ever, 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 ever root against this Wayne State football team. We will never root against the Wayne State Athletics. These are our teams. This is our university. This is who we root for. But we're also going to be honest about it, how we're feeling, what our thoughts are, and just report on things that happen within the game. That is what we're going to, continue to do. And so that's football, Sangster. Anything else?
No, I think you got it right. And to be fair, last year with that weird start, weird middle of the game, that the universe decided that we should go to that Ferris State game. Um, it was a competitive game, and I think a lot of it was due to Ferris's mistakes, but they're Ferris's mistakes that they made. So if they can find a way to force Ferris into getting undisciplined, like they've shown they can be, then that's where I think Wayne State has a chance. It was one of the better games that Wayne State has had against Ferris last year, largely returning a lot of these guys. So maybe we'll see what they can do this year. I would certainly love to say that, hey, we just beat the number one team in Division two right now.
Yeah.
I would feel much better going into this game against Davenport. It's supposed to be another big day, I think, for this team. So
Yeah.
again, hoping the best. We're always going to give our opinions. We try and live in the world of reality, see what we see. We have thoughts about it. But like you said, we're still rooting for this team to do well.
Yeah. For
Team that
sure.
is doing incredibly well right now is the Wayne State volleyball team. Right now, they are 10-3, 4-2 in the conference, and they finally get to come home. If there was such thing as a volleyball homecoming, this would be it. So starting Friday, October 10th at 7 o'clock, they'll be playing a game against Parkside. Parkside comes in right now with a similar, record, 10-3 overall and 3-3 in the conference. And then they come against Roosevelt, comes to town. Roosevelt not doing nearly as well. Roosevelt is 1-14 and 0-6 in the conference.
Yeah, and so far, Parkside's got wins over Davenport, Purdue Northwest, and Roosevelt. So definitely a lighter conference schedule so far for Parkside. But regardless, they get to come to town, and we'll see. Hopefully, this Wayne State volleyball team can get a couple of wins in there.
I gotta pause for 1 second to help my dad. I'll be right
Okay.
back. All right.
So yeah, we'll see what happens here with the Wayne State volleyball team. Hoping for good things again. Coming back home. Let's try to get some couple of wins in there. Continue on after a fantastic away weekend that they had. Your home crowd should be, fired up. They should be excited to see
Electric.
this team again. Yeah, it should be electric. Math is going to be good and loud. And yeah, let's see if this team can't get to 6-2 in conference play. Because you think about it, Grand Valley's got a loss, thanks to us. I don't think Ferris State does, but yeah, I don't think Ferris State does. So they're looking like they're the top team in the GLIAC right now. But hey, we've already played them, and we know Ferris State's got to come to the Math at some point. So this, the season is very much in the Wayne State volleyball team's hands, and if they keep playing like they have been, like some good things are going to happen here.
Yeah, right now it is a little early for standings. A lot of the teams are very close together. Right now, still Ferris is 5-1. Grand Valley is 4-1. They're missing a game somewhere in there. Wayne State, Michigan Tech, Davenport, and Northern are 4-2. Parkside and Purdue Northwest are 3-3. So like another time for kind of just like going from Grand Valley to that Purdue Northwest game that you don't want to be high in your own supply right now. You still an opponent out in front of us. Still time to handle business. Uh, it's still a little early to look at conference only stats. But overall, Parkside does have slightly more points than Wayne State. Parkside's number one. Wayne State's number two. Uh, Roosevelt is at the bottom. Um, as you
I
can
mean,
kind
for
of
what
see
it's
by there.
worth, that
Yeah,
that could also tell the story that we don't play that many sets. You know,
it's true. Yeah.
hard
So
to score so many points when you only play three sets. Like
yeah,
this Wayne
they do have an average and it's incredibly close. Parkside's 7.43. Wayne State is 17. I'm sorry, 17.43. Wayne State is 17.34. Compared that to just say Roosevelt there 13.12. So
Yeah.
yeah, looking at anything else interesting. Yeah, Parkside is a good team as well. They just have a couple more losses than Wayne State does, but another time for Wayne State to separate themselves in the GLIAC, and then yeah, with Roosevelt, it's a business trip. Handle your business at home, especially against a team like that. Move on to next week. I think there's going to be some non-conference play coming up.
Yeah, exactly. Because thinking about that Davenport match that we had, like that's one of those, like, yeah, we would love to win that one. I mean, that one extra GLIAC win makes a bit of a difference in the standings right there. So,
Yep.
as we talked about when it comes to football, like putting these teams into tiers, like, are we in the top tier of GLIAC volleyball? It certainly is seeming like we are. But by dropping to Davenport, that now adds like, okay, is Davenport working into that? Like it's a lot to shake out still, but
Yep.
of course, that's the type of stuff that thinks a win over Grand Valley really helped them, man. That
It
just
did.
really bumped this team up. So,
No doubt.
that's what we got with volleyball. Really quick here, the Wayne State men's and women's cross country teams are heading out to Muskegon, Michigan. They're going to a golf course to play golf. They're
On
not. They're going
Muskegon
to
Community College
run.
campus.
Yeah, they're going to go run down fairways. I assume they're just going to run the whole golf course. But hoping to see good stuff here. Yeah, this is hosted by the Muskegon Community College. And yeah, looking to see what the likes of Glenn Davis can do. Some of the other names over there on the Wayne State men's cross country team, Jared Platt, of course. So hoping for good stuff from them as well as the women's cross country team. Speaking of golf, Sangster, our women's and men's golf team are both in action. First off, the Wayne State women's golf team is also heading out west to
Davenport. The women's golf team will be at the Davenport Panther Invitational in Augusta, Michigan, friends. It'll be Saturday, October 12th, 11th through the 12th. We're hoping for an excellent time out on the links. I believe this will also be the last women's golf tournament before the winter break.
I don't believe we covered this, but this is happening at Stonehenge Golf Course. Exquisite course.
Incredible.
Yeah, hopefully the
The
greens are
best.
looking pretty good that day. Hopefully the fairways are nice and trimmed up, and this team's ready to go. Davenport definitely is one of those teams we continue looking at.
Yep.
When we think about how this team compares in GLIAC standings, there's going to be a number of GLIAC teams here, I'm sure. I don't even know if it is actually up. So yeah, like Davenport, they're going to have two teams there. Team A, Team B. Purdue Northwest is going to be there. Saginaw Valley is going to be there. Northern Michigan and Wisconsin Parkside are all going to be there. So a really good chance to be like, can we be the best GLIAC team in this one? It certainly seems like we should be able to be in the conversation for that one.
You'd
But
like to
as we
say
usually say, you'd like to think that this is Davenport's home course here,
for,
but still go get a good effort in there, and
yeah,
let's see if we can't be a top, if not number two.
for sure. The men's golf team is also out. They will not be in Augusta, Michigan. They will instead be at the Doc Sprague Fall Invitational in Findlay, Ohio.
Flag City.
Flag City, Findlay. Uh, Another 2-day event for these guys. I believe this also is the last one on the schedule before winter break. So last time out on the course for them, and I stand corrected. I shouldn't have said anything. They'll have another competition, I think hosted by Wayne State at Hawks Head in South Haven uh, next Saturday and Sunday. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But still another opportunity to get out on the course before the winter hits.
Yep, absolutely. Couple new sports, thanks. So we got two new sports to close out on.
Yep.
Starting out, swimming and dive. We've hit swimming and dive season. Very exciting time. Their season really does hit the meat of the schedule right in January. So I mean, this is a lot of like not necessarily
This is the early.
exhibition, but essentially. But yeah, so let's start out. We have 10 freshmen entering for the women's team and 8 for the men's team. So quite a bit of new faces on both of these teams. And they start out and they split here. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the swimming team will be heading out to the Davenport Invitational. This will happen on October 10th and 11th. This is out in Kentwood, Michigan. I bet that's where that is. And the diving team, or the diving divers, on October 11th and 12th will be heading to Clarion, Pennsylvania, for the Clarion Diving Invitational. So they get to split out to start. That does not normally happen when it comes to regular swim and dive season. They're always in the same events. But in this case, they go out to their respective events and do everything that they can to be the best at what they do.
Yeah, probably because these are the like invitational type tournaments as opposed to the direct swim meets that we'll be getting later on into the winter time. Uh, yeah, I think that Kentwood is where Davenport has their home swim and dive at. So they're joining the women's golf team out in that side of the state. And last but not least, the last new sport that has entered the chat is the men's and women's fencing team. They will be fencing at the Ohio State University for their duels event. Returning for the women's team, we had Reka Golfalvi, Ludovica Mancini, and I see Salma on here is returning as well. We've also got two freshmen joining the women, and also on the men's side, Ayad Maroof and Mahmoud El Sayed return. They've got seven freshmen joining them. That's going to be a big team this year. Uh, we did get a chance to talk with Coach Tollner's not on the podcast or anything, but just had a chance to chat with him. He's very excited with the growth of this team. There's going to be 20 fencers overall now.
Yeah, well, on the men's
Just
team
on the
just
men's.
has 20, which is wild. That is such a large team. I think the women's team has it's 9 or 12. I can't remember the exact number, but yeah, 20 on the men's fencing team. I mean, my goodness, that is quite the squad. The depth is real for that
Yeah.
team right now. And I haven't actually seen the breakdown as far as the weaponry to see how many are in saber, epee, and foil.
Well,
I don't really know. I assume it's a pretty decent breakdown, and that's part of the big growth of this team is to really kind of expand more and more. But yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. A lot of good events, and we talked about this before, but we'll talk about it again here really quick as we close out this episode. That this is a D. Actually, no, this is a D2. Fencing is technically D2, I believe,
no.
but they do compete with all of the D1 schools. When it comes to, I want to say it's national. I thought they were D2 in this. I could be wrong now.
It's the opposite. They are Division One. They compete with they compete with the it's the Midwest Fencing Conference, so they've got it's kind of like hockey where it's not related to anything else in the conference. It's a Division One only because there is no Division Two fencing championship.
Sure. Yeah, I do know that they compete with all those D1 schools. But yeah, I feel like when it comes down to like the I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I happened to just pull up a Wikipedia article and they do have us listed as D2. There's some weird thing that happens as we get close to postseason. And I know that Jeff from Wayne State's probably going to hit us up and let us know via email what happens here. But yeah, but at the very least, we get to compete with your Northwestern, your Detroit Mercy, your Ohio State, Penn, Princeton, Yale, Columbia, Brown, all of those schools. We get to compete with a lot of them just because, yeah, like you said, the hierarchy and the number of schools that are lower in the divisions are just not really there. So they're generally open events. So I mean, that's a really really cool opportunity for a lot of these fencers.
Yep.
Yeah. So, good luck to the fencing team. Good luck to the swimming and dive team, golf teams, of course. Football team heading out west. Volleyball team, they're the ones that get to stay home this weekend. They're really the
They're the
only
only
ones
ones in the story
actually.
right now.
So if you're on campus, if you're a student, you're listening in, head on over to the Math Eye, check that out. It should be a lot of fun. This volleyball team is very good, and they are a team very, very worthy of the support. So anything else, Sangster?
Nope, that should do it.
So, with that, we appreciate everybody listening in on episode 106 of the Warrior House podcast.
And remember, it's always a great day to be a Wayne State Warrior.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you this really quick because yeah, it's always really, really weird
Hmm.
that
I didn't know there
like
was
like John Hopkins. I remember I've seen them a few times and they're D3 and like there's I don't know what it means,
maybe it
but
maybe it's because there's no like I don't think there's an actual division. I maybe it just means that they're like what they normally are. Because like Cleveland State is, I mean that's technically not even right. Like these aren't independents. They're in a Cleveland State, UDM, Ohio State, Penn State. They're all in the Midwest Fencing
mhm,
Conference.
yeah. Where would this be? Oh shit, I just had it. Go back 24, 25, and I'll just look up the fencing championships from last year. Yeah, NCAA championships, or oh, maybe it is Central Collegiate that it is. Oh God, I can never find documentation on anything when I need to. Hmm. Well, Jeff will be in the email.
Jeff will. He'll school us.
He'll set us straight.
He'll learn
Like,
us real good.
what happens, Jeff? Why is it so weird?
Or the
So,
Wikipedia article is just
or that. Yeah, it's funky. You always